few terms that are in the priority areas, make sure they are featuring throughout your essays, and I'm going to show you. Make sure they are featuring. This time around, they have been very specific on the priority areas. Please don't start beating around the bush. Yeah, what is the burning around the bush? Is it Moses? Anyway, don't start beating around the bush. But don't just say that, oh, this course in this course I'm going to learn policy development for energy transition. I am also going to learn this. I'm also going to learn this. I'm going to learn this. So what? So you have to really link. You really have to link that module and how it's contributing to this theme. So for instance, I would say, hi guys, welcome to Thriving Nuggets YouTube channel. Now what is it called? The sun in Scotland has said it's time for summer. So cut the sun. So I hope the lighting is still as good because it's still natural lighting. So let me record this quickly before it starts raining. Anyway, welcome to this third video of the Chevening application series. So I have been sharing tips on how to do your leadership statement, your networking statement, and now I'm here to share about the study in the UK. They are now calling it course choice and global challenge statement. And so I'm definitely going to share excerpts from my own essay as I have been doing in the previous videos, but also taking into account the new questions that have come up that were not in previous years, and how I would approach them. As always, views expressed in this video are mine and not that of the Chevening Secretariat or the British Council, and this is merely prescriptive stuff. At the end of the day, try to tailor this advice to your own particular circumstance. Take every advice with a pinch of salt and exercise also your own independent judgment. But I do hope that some of these tips are going to help you to draft a winning application that will get you into the interview stage and subsequently make you a Chevening scholar. So for this year, the question says, explain your first choice of course and university. Please relate your answer to one of the UK priority areas for Chevening as referred on the Chevening website. So they are the priority areas. So I'm going to read the priorities areas. So number 1, promoting growth and prosperity. 2, building resilience in a climate vulnerable world. 3, strengthening security and stability in a volatile world. And 4, supporting development for more inclusive and effective societies. Of course, before you start writing this, and in this case you're being told to explain only your first choice. Previously you would explain all the 3 choices. That gives you a leeway to deep dive into this particular choice, but also to take into account the additional questions that they have brought and that we are going to get through. But by the time you're writing this essay, you of course have to have decided this is the course that I am taking. So how do you narrow down on the course that you're taking? The first thing is like, why do you want to do your master's? Of course, do not, and I said it in one of the videos, do not try to let your goal not be, I want to be a Chevening scholar. Let your goal be, I want to expand my knowledge in this field. And then what are the scholarships that are available? That approach is far much better, because if you do this other way around, you may try to fit your application to look at, oh, of these areas, which one can I take? You have to, all that to say that you have to be very clear with what you want to study. What do you want to do your master's in? Where do you want to study in the UK? What's the kind of vibe you want in the city that you do your master's in? Things like that. What kind of facilities are you looking into? What kind of opportunities are you eyeing? And that enables you to look into the courses. So for me, I knew for sure that I wanted to do a course that is energy related. I didn't want a course that rehashes or regurgitates what I had learned in law school, but also what I had learned in what I'd learned in law school, or what I had learned when it came to my work experience. I had a lot of experience when it came to climate policy, climate justice, environmental justice, public interest litigation, around that. I didn't want things that I would go to class and it would be like, yeah, I know that kind of thing. And I wanted to add this element of energy justice and understanding energy systems and things like that. So that is how I led. Already I had defined what I wanted to do with my career. I had identified the gap that was there when I looked at my education and my work experience and where I want to go. That has to be very clear for you, because at the end of the day, that is also even going to inform when you choose your modules once you come to the UK. And in a couple of months when I will deep dive into my whole Chevening experience, we'll talk about even module selection and how then you really tailor your master's degree to look the way you want it to look, and to be able to achieve the goal that you want to achieve at the end of the day. So I'll say this, and I'll hold your hand as I say this, that if you're not yet clear about your goals, your career goals, and I'm not saying having the full picture, because really in life we never have the full picture. Even these goals, plans, we just plan, and then at the end of the day we leave it to God. Sometimes it happens the way it happens, sometimes it happens as you have planned, sometimes it doesn't. But it's good to have that clarity, because you don't want to come to a year, do a master's, and be like, yeah, I don't know why I did this master's for, kind of thing. So I'll hold your hand as I say this. If you're not really sure what you want to study in your master's, don't bother right now. I think the first step right now you should be taking is to figure out what you really want to master in. I have a video where I talked about should you do a master's degree, and I break down the different reasons why people do master's degree, my thoughts about it. Of course, it's my own personal experience, my own opinion, but you can go ahead and check that video out. So I would say that's the first step. So what did I do? For me, I knew that. The second step I did, I went to, there's a link, and I'm going to link it down below. It's called LLM Guide. So I was doing a master's of law, so I looked at all the schools that are like top 10, the best when it comes to offering courses on energy justice. The thing is, a school may be an Ivy League school, but it's not known in that in your field. It's not the best in your field. So for me, my inclination was towards, I want to study where this course is really the best in the UK. And my uni, actually, Center for Energy, is #1 when it comes to energy, environmental, climate things. In the LLM Guide, it has been #1 for a while now. So that is what informed me, saying, okay, then uni is going to be #1. Also, like my mentor, so many people in the energy space from the global south that have interacted with have come to the University of Dundee for that. So then that really informed me, being like, okay, yeah, I'm going to go to I'm going to have that as my first choice. Then of course other university came up, University of Aberdeen, Queen's Mary, University of London. And so then that informed me in terms of narrowing down. Then I had a spreadsheet where I wrote those schools. I'm going to link the spreadsheet down below. So I wrote the schools. It had even like the requirements that are needed in terms of for the application for the schools. And very soon, maybe before the year ends or early next year, I'm going to talk more about doing these school applications, drafting your personal statements. And so I had that spreadsheet that I was using to track. And the more I dug into research of schools, the more I increased the number, and even looked for scholarships that were within the university, because I was spreading my wings wider. So then that was the first step. The second step, I went to the websites of these universities and I looked into the modules that were being offered. So what modules are being offered for this particular uni, and what am I going to learn? And I remember some unis that were really top. When I went to the modules, I realized I'm going to be studying literally what I've been doing in my workplace. So this is not worth it. It's not worth, spending a whole year studying this thing, and I'll be like, okay, I know that kind of thing. I wanted something that's adding new knowledge to me and that is positioning me in a better way than I was with my work experience and with my educational qualifications. So then I did that, and then I now settled down on my first choice. At that time, I wasn't really big on the cities and all that. I didn't know much about Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, England, the 4 countries of the United Kingdom, cost of living. I didn't know any of that. I haven't had anyone, like a relative or anyone close to me, come to the UK and, that I would be privy to this kind of information. But I thank God for my mentor. So my mentor, Dr. Victoria, did, there's a time I was really conflicted what to put so I was debating between the University of Dundee and Queen's Mary University of London. And I was like, which one should be my first choice? Which one should be my second choice? So how I made this decision was I asked her, like, what do you think? And she gave me an insight that I didn't know, like I had not heard from anywhere. And she said that even if you get a scholarship, if you go to like Queen's Mary University of London, the cost of living is really high. And even if you will be on a Chevening Scholarship, you'll be receiving a stipend. Really, you will really struggle on the finance side, or like you won't even have much to do maybe any extra thing with because of the cost of living. So she told me that, and then of course I went back and looked at the modules. I then also went back to the fact that our school is the best when it comes to these courses. So yeah, let me just settle on that. Not settle, but decide on that, because I didn't settle. I decide on that, and that's why I came to the University of Dundee. Now when I came to the UK, I was like, I was meant to be in Scotland. Scotland is really quiet. I love very quiet spaces. I'm introverted, and so I really love very quiet. I love even like in my space, like sometimes I will be no music, nothing. I'm just silent. There's nothing. There's no, like, you will think there's nobody there. So this really matched. Dundee itself, it's a very small city, very compact. Like you walked everywhere, literally. Where I stay is like how far is Dundee from? It's like a 2-minute walk to school, to campus. Really, it fits that. So if you're really big into where you want to stay, think about it. If you love the buzz of being in London and all those, go for those London schools. There's a lot of personal preferences that this come into. But the thing is, what I would say, and I had a friend say this when we did a meeting with our Chevening program officer, truly, if you're thinking between a city and a course, and your uni is in a place where you don't really love that place, or like you want the vibey place, but the best, like what the course that really fits your career plan is in this particular place, for me, I would advise you go to that place. You can always visit around. Yes, I wasn't studying in London, but I got to go to London 3, 4, 5 times. I wasn't studying in Wales, but I went to Wales. You can visit there, you can go and see those places. If you want to even spend a week there, you can save up, go spend a week there. But for me, like, I think the most important thing is looking at your study goals based on your career goals, and which uni gives you that. Which uni gives you a mixture of teaching methods, which uni gives you the kind of learning experience that you want to give, and you go dig into that website, know that website in and out. The beauty of universities in the UK is that they are very comprehensive when it comes to their own website. So please do that. I didn't know that part will take that long. So you're told what is the specific priority area you wish to address. So once you have decided on the course, look at that course. Does it fit on either, say, that tab has gone. So does it fit either in promoting growth and prosperity? Does it fit in building resilience in a climate vulnerable world? Does it fit strengthening security and stability in a volatile world? Does it fit into supporting development for inclusive and effective societies? So think about that. So for me, I would say my course, I'm doing a Master's of Law in Energy Transition, and my course fits into 2 of them actually, but I think the one that's really top, it's building resilience in a climate vulnerable world. which eventually will support development for more inclusive and effective societies. I think there's a way you can merge the two for my course, I would say, for my course. So think about it. So it says in the first, what is the specific priority area you wish to address? So you start with my first choice is, so for me it was the low carbon just transition LLM at the University of Dundee, which addresses the building resilience in a climate vulnerable world priority area. These key terms that are in the priority areas, make sure they are featuring throughout your essays, and I'm going to show you. Make sure they are featuring. This time around, they have been very specific on the priority areas. Please don't start beating around the bush. Yeah, what is the burning around the bush? Is it Moses? Anyway, don't start beating around the bush. And then after you do that, it says, how will your chosen course equip you to contribute to addressing this theme? So you have to understand what modules are being offered, but don't just say that, oh, this course, in this course I'm going to learn policy development for energy transition. I am also going to learn this. I'm also going to learn this. I'm going to learn this. So what? So you have to really link. You really have to link that module and how it's contributing to this theme. So for instance, I would say there's let me just get an excerpt of my essay. So I had said one of the topics is just transition to a net zero economy. So that was one of the modules that I took, and then I said this module will entail topics such as policy development for just transition, which will enable me get the required technical expertise to advocate for just energy transition policies in the world. So you see, I have linked the course. I know the course, it shows you've done your research, but I have linked it to what I want to do. Now, if we already had priority areas, it wasn't very specific priority areas in our time, then I would say which this will therefore, maybe I'll add up one liner which say this will therefore ensure that that there are formulating the sentence on the go, but this will therefore ensure that there are climate resilient energy systems that protect the rights of marginalized communities. So the theme is coming out. So don't try to list all the modules, just take one or two that really stand out to demonstrate that. So you have to be thinking about, number one, what module is it? If you know the lecturer, you mentioned the lecturer also. So this module taken by Dr. whatever, if you have the word count, and then talk about this will enable me, look at the learning outcome. So in the modules, they say this is what you learn, and then what will be the learning outcome, and then link that learning outcome to your career goal. So already, that's what I was saying, by this point, you know what your career goal is. You're very particular in your career goal, and of course, after this video, there's a video that will go up on the career goals, but you know your career goals already, and you have to know your career goals because in this period, your short-term career goal comes into this essay, and we're going to see how. So you talk about it. Number 3, they're telling you, how have you selected your particular university in the UK? So see all those preferences I told you. So you could say, I selected my university because it is highly ranked. I'm not a fan of it, but if that's your thing and you really want to say that, say it, but justify it. It's highly ranked, so what? So I'm going to get world-class education or specialized education from experts around. Like, say it. So I have chosen this university. Like, for instance, our university it's a mouthful, so I have to look. It's called the Center for Energy, Petroleum and Mineral Law Policy. So where I had said then I'll be able to network and learn from different energy professionals. So think about what are the unique things in your university. Talk about, you talk about, there's a part I talked about lecturers I would meet. Or lecturers I'm keen to network with. Talk about them and why specifically do you want to network with them. You network with intention, so it has to be very clear what's your goal with networking this person. Not because I've had it's because I'd really love to learn from his experience in doing X, Y, Z. It shows you've done your research. Then you can do a light touch and say something like, oh, I want to study in Manchester because the Old Trafford Stadium is there, or something like that, or I want to visit or explore Scotland, while studying in Scotland kind of thing, you can add a light touch to it. Then after that, you're told, how do you plan to immediately apply the knowledge or skills you will gain after your studies? So you can wrap up and talk about, of course, as you're talking about the modules, you're trying to say, oh, this connects with this theme this way, and it will enable me do this, and you're linking to your career goal. So you can use that, but you can now wrap it up very nicely and show like, what's your immediate plan, what's your immediate goal. It has to be something that's realistic from where you are. You can't say that your immediate goal is to become the president and you've never been an MCA kind of thing, you know, like very realistic. It shows that it's doable. So talk about that. So it's like your short-term goal. So what you want to do immediately after your studies, what do you want to do? And then as always, wrap it up with the Chevening Scholarship. So you and just to go back, when it comes to what you want to do, it could be like you want to disseminate this knowledge by having an annual or like a monthly or a bi-weekly newsletter on LinkedIn where I share more about this and everything, or something like that. Or maybe you already had an organization, so I'll come back and share the skills or this knowledge by this, but be very particular, be very specific on what you're going to do, and then tie it back to Chevening. So I'm looking this way because this is where my laptop is with my full essay. So you could say, so it was, for me, it was like studying in the UK will give me the technical expertise to influence policies that integrate energy, climate, and environmental needs of marginalized communities. Ultimately, this will ensure there is a robust legal framework that will ensure that energy transition efforts, such as renewable energy investments, achieve their goal to reduce emissions and that they foster energy equity. Of course, this felt very long-termish, so you can now make it very short-termish because now they are very particular, so in terms of that. But go back to the Chevening Scholarship and say the Chevening Scholarship will enable me to study in the UK, and immediately after returning into my home country, to start a monthly newsletter where I will share, be very particular, be very specific. Yeah, so let me look at my notes and see, is there something we left? Is there something we left? No, not at all. Yeah, I hope this is clear, and if there's anything that's not clear, feel free to comment down on the comment section below. So because I have been sharing snippets of this on TikTok, on Instagram, and of course sharing the videos here on YouTube, I've gotten quite a number of messages. I've not even gotten to them, asking about reviewing of essays. So I'm going to answer it here, and maybe I'll take a snippet and just post it on those Instagram. Am I willing to review essays right now? At the moment, it's such a busy season for me, and so I can't say yes or no, but I can't say yes right now. But if you want me to review your essays, and I'm scared saying this because I'm like, what if I commit and I'm not able to, and I would really not want to commit to something and not do it. I think these videos are very helpful. I think using the Chevening website is going to be very helpful for you. I would love to have all the time in the world to be able to review everyone's essays, but anyone who sees this video like in the first couple of hours or like days, you can drop me an email and tell me that you watched this study in the UK and you'd like me to review your essay. I'm going to do the reviews mid-September. So from the 15th of September, I'll take on as much as I can. So I will see maybe the first 2, 3, 4 people who do that. I will commit and say yes. Otherwise, I'm going to look if I can refer you to elsewhere, or yeah, honestly, I wish I had more time than the requests are coming in. But if I'm able to, I will definitely respond. If I'm not able to, I will let you know when I do get the time to respond to every single message. But that's where it stands right now. It's such a busy season, but hopefully in the near future, then it will have eased out. I hope so, and I will be able to review in subsequent years much more than I can at the moment. Yeah, so yeah, that's it for this week's video. See you on the last video for the Chevening application series next week, or after this video. At this point I don't know next week, the week before where it is, but as the next video. And until next time, bye bye.